Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Allie at Heart and Soul Connected, bringing you 11 to 15-minute shorts that kind of explain some things spiritual, some things philosophical, having taught the humanities now for almost 27 years. So I want to talk to you today about existential dread. And existential simply means our existence. And there are a lot of people that have a very difficult time with the monotony of their lives or wondering, is this really all there is? And so this is just a little chat on that topic. And maybe you can think about it in a little bit of a different way afterwards, I hope, anyway. The term existential dread is a term that's become more and more relevant in today's society because we're living in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information, expectations, and pressure to conform to one or two people's, let's say, idea of what life should look like, maybe even more than that in this particular case. So it's no wonder that many of us feel very anxious at times, uncertain, and scared about our future. But what is it and how is it holding you back? It's a nagging feeling that you're just drifting through life without any purpose and that it's like you're sleepwalking through the days. You feel disconnected from the world around you and you feel like you're just going through the motions. Also, it could be that you're fearing that you're not living up to the potential that you would like to live up to, and just where to go. Where do I go from here? Many people have felt this way. And so feeling stuck and uncertain about the future is always a difficult thing to work through, and most particularly in a time of living on this planet where we have so many things that are commanding our attention. And many of us have families, children, jobs, careers, let's say, and other things that command our interest, our time, and certainly our attention. If you were to live, let's say, in the 50s or the 60s, we didn't have the internet. We were just getting the television. We didn't have phones on us 24/7. And we had to remember phone numbers. And that was about it. A few key things for our lives. Now we have to remember passwords and passcodes and we have to remember our phone. We have to remember where our keys are. We have to check our email. We have to check our work email. We have to, it's like constant striving just to keep our heads above the water. So back in the 50s, there was a fabulous writer named Albert Camus who wrote several books. One of them was The Myth of Sisyphus. And he uses a character from a Greek novel or a Greek myth that is condemned to live pushing a rock up a hill, and every night knowing the rock will come down. And the next day he pushes the rock up the hill, and then every day it comes back down. This was his penance for what he had done. And so we have to kind of look at it from a 21st century perspective, and we have to say to ourselves, oh, what is that rock for us? Every day we have to get up, we have to get dressed, we have to go to work, whether or not we're working at home or working at an office. If we're at an office, we have to fight the traffic. We have to think about what we're having for lunch. We have to think about how the traffic's going to be on the way home. We have to make sure everybody's doing all right, call everybody back, email everybody back, make the boss happy. Oh my God, we have more than one big rock. We got several rocks, and every day it comes back down, and every morning we get back up to push it up the hill. We may get a little bit of relief over the weekend, but so many of us have to do our chores then that can be a whole other existential dread that we are feeling, in that we never get quite ahead of ourselves. We never get to where we need to be. And much can be said also about getting promotions, getting more money, being able to pay our bills off, and many people still paying student loans within the country. And those are astronomical. And so It's no wonder we don't have anxiety. It's no wonder we don't have existential dread. One of the other books that Albert Camus wrote was called The Stranger. And it was written in French initially, and he's coins a whole new idea of existentialism, which is called absurdism. And I mean, we've got existentialism, but absurdism is everything's absurd, everything's ridiculous, everything is what we have to make our way through all the time. Very good books, and you can understand why the protagonist in his book, The Stranger, doesn't really care about anything. He's sort of a nihilist. He just doesn't, yeah, well, that doesn't really matter. And yeah, I don't know about that. But in doing that, he also damns himself to a prison sentence or a death sentence for what it is that he did. So, it's very much worth the read, but it is nice to know what the background of that book is, in that it is absurdism, a component of existentialism or existential dread. So it's a nagging feeling also that we're drifting sort of through life. And a lot of people will say, oh, you're talking about the midlife crisis. Well, it doesn't have to be at midlife. It could be earlier than midlife. It could be later than midlife. It's when you say, I'm not going to drive a small car anymore. I'm going to buy myself a sports car, or I'm going to get a facelift, or I'm going to take a vacation with my friends and not my family, or I'm just tired of living life the way it is and I want to settle down, and I also want to get rid of the burdens of loans and things. And so it can be anything. It can even be postpartum depression many women feel after having children, or waiting for children and not knowing if that will ever be in your life, but you've put it off because you really want to be there for it fully when the time comes. So you might feel like you're stuck in a rut or trapped in the never-ending cycle of monotony. It might feel like Groundhog Day, then Groundhog Year, then Groundhog Decade. And the truth is that many of us have lived through it and come out on the other side, and we've been much stronger and better people. But the other side of it is the changes that go through every single year or month or even week can add to that already existential dread and the feeling we can never quite catch up. We can never quite get there. And so it's also the little voice in the back of your head that says, what's the point? What's the point of striving so much? Where is it ever going to get me? Nobody appreciates me. My boss doesn't appreciate me. I'm not being seen or elevated to a higher position. There's something about it that just keeps questioning you, the universe. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And everybody goes through that at some point or another. And they even go through it multiple times in their lifetime if they still haven't found what it is they believe is their purpose. We can say that your purpose is to love and be loved. It's to be here on the planet to love and to grow and to learn and to elevate yourself and assist humanity in many ways. But we're not seeing that everywhere. We're seeing a lot of selfish pursuit, and there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself or your needs. That's not selfish. But the selfish pursuit might be, I need more. I'm never satisfied. You have a cell phone, it works perfectly well, but you're going to go and get a new one, or you're going to get a new car, or you're going to do that next thing because, and is that going to bring you the happiness that you want, you deserve? Probably not, because it's another thing that will be out there that will be calling to you. So this doesn't make it right or wrong. It just makes it as it is. Are you just a tiny, insignificant speck in a vast, uncaring cosmos? No. But do you feel like you are? Probably. At times you do. We all do. We feel like, well, what difference can one person make anyway? And this is where you have to start to think that it doesn't matter what difference I make in my own life, as long as I'm helping those along to make their life better. And hopefully they'll do the same, and we'll grow and grow and grow together. Or we can grow apart, but they're on their way to their path and I'm on my way to mine. As we navigate our lives, we feel also the societal pressure to conform. You're supposed to look a certain way, dress a certain way. If you're over 50, you're elderly. If you're under, let's say 30, you're a kid. You're supposed to get married before this date, have children before this date, make sure that you have this degree, make sure you continue on to the next degree. Why don't you own a house? When are you going to have a child? OMG, it goes on, and it doesn't really stop when you get older as well. You just have new things that people ask or people expect of you. So hard sometimes our thoughts can be paralyzing and make it difficult to get out of bed. There is no wonder that there are diseases, autoimmune diseases, that our body's fighting against the tide. And I'm not a doctor. I'm just suggesting that the energy that we're trying to expel is disseminating perhaps. And we just don't have that energy that we used to have because we have a lot of things that we have to have done. We also must understand that the search for meaning in life is a fundamental human quest. It is the Don Quixote of our lives. Don Quixote lived in a home in La Mancha, and he read an awful lot of medieval knight stories. And in those stories, he decided he wanted to be a knight, except that he lived in a later century where there weren't those things. And he read so many of them that people said he addled his brain. And, he came upon, on his horse, he came upon some windmills, and he thought they were giants and he wanted to slay them. This is, he was having a real existential crisis. And so many times you'll hear people say, are you just tilting at windmills? In other words, are you not seeing right what's in front of you and looking somewhere else to make meaning out of your life? Our meaning is derived from our background, from the lives that we have made since we were grown up, from our experiences, from our travels, from our friendships, from our interests like reading or movies or boxing or whatever it is that it's called a schema. And these are schemas that we are well knowledged in. And yet we will never know everything. And that's just okay. It is. There isn't an ending to knowledge ever. What if our search, though, to have the one thing that gives our life purpose, direction, and significance is actually contributing to our lives with existential dread? One key insight that can help you to look right at your existential dread is the realization that you are not alone. There are thousands and thousands of people that are around you, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. And if you took everybody and asked them, are they always satisfied with their lives? You're going to find out, oh no, not at all. And it may be fine one day and not the next, 1 hour or not the next. This can happen. We're all in this together, and we're struggling for the same questions and the same fears that are within our lives. By acknowledging and accepting it, we can begin to let go of our need to control things and the perfection and start to see that it's okay not to have all the answers and that it's okay to take things one step at a time. It's also okay to release the outcome, release what it is that you want, knowing that it will show up for you if it was meant for you, and not thinking in a negative sense that you don't want something, but that you do want and feel like you already possess that very thing. Strength, harmony, creativity, love, whatever it is, but you have to let it go. It will come when the time is right. By facing your existential dread head on, you will be incredibly freed, quite honestly. You will, it allows you to step back, breathe, and focus on the present moment, which is all there is, and be mindful that this is the now and now is all. You can see that life is a journey and not a destination. And the only way we can truly live is to embrace the uncertainty. Many people want to hold on to things because they're uncertain of what might come next, but it's going to come next whether you hold on to it or not. Be open to the change that may come in. Change isn't negative. Change is a fully developed and welcoming presence for us because it allows us to see other potentialities and to learn and grow from those potentialities. So understand the causes and acknowledge your own fears and doubts, embrace your uncertainty, and you can begin to live and break free again. Once you can say to yourself, it's okay not to know, it's okay not to be certain, then you have lifted the veil of worry and taken each day as it comes the best you can. I thank you for listening, and I hope this helps you in understanding what existential dread is and how it may be impacting your life. I recognize these are unprecedented times that we live in, and some of the existential dread is collective. And the only thing that you can do is turn to community wherever you might find it. If that be here, if that be in your own personal space, if that be in some kind of club or church, if you're interested in that thing, then you can find people who are experiencing life the same way you are, and you can collectively come together to help each other out and understand that we're all in this together. Thank you so much. You have a beautiful day. Bye now.